Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you're doing okay. It's time for part two of day five of Advent of Code 2025. And I am not going to get these puzzles done this year. We are somewhere, we're somewhere, nobody knows what day it is or where we are, but we're somewhere between Christmas and the New Year. Um, but we're gonna keep going. So part two of day five. But I noticed just before I came on to record that Mr. Keefe has left some comments. I haven't read them, so I thought we'd just do that right at the start of the video before we get on to part two. So thanks again for taking the time to watch the video and to leave some comments. Right, so let's have a look what you've written. Congratulations on, thank you. Congratulations on star number 9. Yes, getting there slowly but surely. I have observed that you tend to go straight for using map and fold in many of your iterators. Is this something that's been influenced by other programming language experiences? Well, that's interesting. I'm sure there are some influences there. I've a long and varied history. I started programming when I was 10, I think. I got an Amstrad CPC 464 for Christmas. I got the one with the color monitor. It was brilliant. And I remember playing Elite, that game where you bought stuff and then you flew to another planet and then you sold it at a profit. It's a good life lesson, actually. Um, and I remember playing it so much one day. I was on it the whole day that I actually made myself sick. And then so the whole room was spinning because there's kind of this bit where you're coming when you come to dock with the planet, you have to get lined up. So fabulous game, and yeah, I played that a lot. But I also got the magazines. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but the Amstrad magazines, and each edition came with a game that you could program in, and that was some flavor of BASIC, if I seem to remember correct, if I remember correctly. So that was my first exposure to programming, and I've been tinkering around ever since with all different, lots of different programming languages, and then kind of like doing it as a hobby, but then professionally for the last sort of 25 years or something like that. So yeah, it was basic, and then Pascal in college, where I was doing sort of computer aided engineering type stuff. And then I got into Lisp for a bit. Then Fox Pro for DOS, MS DOS. So I was working on accounting software for quite a while, and that was all written in Fox Pro for DOS. And then later, Microsoft Visual Fox Pro. So I spent a bit of time in the Microsoft ecosystem, and then I went on to all the .NET stuff. So many years of writing .NET applications, both for the web and for the desktop, with Microsoft SQL Server database. And then in about 2002, I switched to open source software. So I learned PHP and started writing web applications in PHP, which is what I've been doing ever since. But still tinkering around with lots of other programming languages, lots of frameworks, that kind of thing. Not becoming particularly proficient in any of them. I know, just enough to be dangerous. So yeah, I suppose there's lots of influences there. But I think what it is that I just have a few tools, Rust tools that I know roughly how to use. And so any situation that I get, that's thrown at me, I have, these few tools in my hands that I know how to use, roughly know how to use, and and so yeah, I do need to learn more and sort of branch out and do use different things. I'm aware that I'm just scratching the surface with Rust. So yes, there'll be some influences there, but yeah, I'm just when I come to do these puzzles, I'm trying to keep the videos short, so I'm trying not to go uh, too experimental or sort of get out of my depth and end up, it being a long video of me just scratching my head and sort of making a mess of things. So I'm trying to do my learning sort of outside of making these videos, but at the same time, I'm learning a lot from your comments, so thank you for them. But yeah, so yeah, definitely some influences there. Um, and then, right, okay, so the pattern of pushing into a separate array during a map is something I would recommend avoiding. Yes, I totally agree. One of the main issues is the collecting into a vec and then immediately discarding it. Yeah, I do this a lot. So we have it here. And you'll see this through all of the videos, I think, this pattern of um, collecting just so that it makes the iterator iterate and do something. There's some side, the side effect is that I end up with my ranges in this vec that I've called database. But I don't use the collect. I don't use the result of that iteration through there, other than I take database on and do stuff with it later. So yeah, I'm aware of this, and I know it's not optimal. Uh, I think both of these. I think both of these alternatives could be classed as more idiomatic. Okay, yeah, yeah, I hear this expression a lot, that there's this idiomatic way of writing Rust. Um, so using a for loop and pushing into the vec, or returning the value from the mapped closure and using the collected vec. Okay, yeah, yeah. I think this puzzle was a great opportunity to make use of Rust's ranges. Oh, ranges. This is interesting because I don't think I said it in the video, but I did in, there was a brief moment where I was writing the code where I thought of creating a range struct, something like this, with a start, which would have been I64 and end I64, and then I was going to sort of implement some methods like is in range or something like that, where I could pass a value and it would return whether the value was within in any of the ranges. And actually, I did think that I might want a collection of ranges. But yeah, again, just avoiding getting into, I mean, fairly simple stuff, right, for anybody who knows what they're doing. But for me, conscious of not making super long videos, I think it went in my brain, it came into my brain and then left very quickly. So yeah, I did, but it looks like there's some, in the standard library, that there's some structs that I could have used. So I'm starting to get the feeling that there's a refactoring needed here. Um, the other thing I was also thinking of is that I didn't want to put all of the individual values in the ranges, because there were some really big numbers in there, and you know, it's fine having, a range which has a really big number and a really big number that's close to it. But when there's a really big number and another number, and the difference between the two is big, then you're going to have a lot of values in the range. So I don't know whether this seems to me that it might have all the values in the range. Um, so I was just storing like the start and the end and doing a greater than and less than, or greater than and equal to, or less than and equal to. So I don't know, but yeah, maybe I should have a look at that. Thank you for pointing me in the direction of these built-in structs. Um, Instead of using fold, I think this could have been nicely expressed using filter and count. Yes, yes. So database, which is what I had, a vec of I64, I64. Oh, look at this. Nice. Very nice. Filter map. I have used filter map before. So I was aware of that. Why I didn't reach for it, I don't know why. Um, I mean, I have spent a lot of time looking at the iterator documentation. So I'm aware of lots of them. Some of my, some of the methods on it on iterate it on iter I've used, um, but I'm aware of a lot of them, and I haven't used them. But like yesterday, when the opportunity came to use any, I was aware of it. I hadn't used it before, but um, so yeah. But I was aware of filter map, so I could have used that and filter. This is very nice. This is so much nicer than what I've written over here. Um, or if the database was using range inclusive, it would look something like this. So database, still a vec, but a vec of range inclusives, I64 in the range inclusive. Yeah, very, very nice. So again, using filter map and filter. Yeah, so I think yeah, I think instead of going on to do part two in this video, I might just I don't know how long have we been going here. Yeah, I think this video is going to be long enough just sort of going through these comments. I think there's probably I'm thinking I'm going to do another refactoring video where I just shut up because I think that's a good thing when I just shut up, don't talk, just put some music on and incorporate some of these brilliant ideas into the code I wrote yesterday before I copy it and have a look at part two. Um, okay, so I did a bit of experimenting. Most of the time is currently spent on parsing the ingredient numbers multiple times. Yeah, I was conscious of this as well, where I'm passing the ingredient to an I64 and then I'm doing exactly the same thing. And I did think to, yeah, exactly what you've, exactly this. I did think that I should do this. But again, I see the minutes going up on the video and I think, just just conscious of trying to keep it short and um yeah, I did cross my mind to do that, I must admit. Reduces the so passing each ingredient ID only once reduces the execution time to less than half. Wow. Wow. I'm slightly surprised that this type of optimization wasn't done by the compiler. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's incredible. To get a 50% um, uh, reduction in execution time just by doing a simple, just casting that string to an I64 once rather than twice. That's incredible. Um, I then changed from fold to using filter map and filter and count from above. So yeah, and oh wow, which reduced the execution time further to an eighth of the time. That is amazing. That is amazing. And here are the mean times over 100 sample on my input. So we've gone from the original of 1.8 milliseconds to 830 microseconds. That's incredible. That's incredible. I did test a variation with range inclusive, but it had essentially equivalent performance to manually comparing against start and end. That's interesting. And I wonder if it is because you are effectively, if I'm reading this correctly, that you end up with each individual number in the range itself. So consequently, if you've got those well, if you've got a big gap between your start and your end, you're going to have a lot of numbers. Maybe I don't know enough about range. But maybe that's why that's just as slow as doing what I did. But yeah, very, very interesting. Really appreciate you writing these comments out for me. Um, I wonder whether you wanted to come on. This is a little impromptu. Just a thought crossed my mind. Save you some time instead of watching my videos and then writing the comments out afterwards. Maybe you could come on and we could do some pair programming, and you could tell me what to do as I'm writing the code. I think that could be a lot of fun. No pressure, right? Just came into my mind. I thought it could be some fun. If you're up for it, let me know. But yeah, as I say, no pressure whatsoever. But thank you again for your kind comments. I think I'm gonna stop the video here. I'm not gonna go on and do part two. I'll do a refactoring video, and I'm gonna roll these improvements into my code before I copy it across for day two. So thanks for watching. Take care. See you in the next one.